Hi everyone. So this is our week 5 of the web development course. And if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe so that you can get the notification of the new videos. So today we will talk about the Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a HTML, CSS or JavaScript front-end framework. Remember in the last lecture we study how we can write our CSS file, and then we if we start working on it, if we try to make a responsive website, make a responsive website, then that responsive website take a lot of different things. Especially, remember we have a picture tag. In the picture tag we can say that if the size of the screen is this, then use this specific image. If the size of the screen is this, minimum size is this, then use this image. So we can write a lot, maybe a few thousands of lines in the CSS to make it more responsive according to the modern design. So yes. So isn't it better to use external CSS in all projects? Yes, it is always recommended that you use external CSS. But the thing is that CSS file, are we going to write it, or we can reuse with the other files which has been developed by the experts or the big team? Rather than we reinvent that wheel again, we can use from other. So we have different type of frameworks which are available. We have Tailwind, we have the Bootstrap, and these are the two of them which are very, very, very popular or the mostly used. But there are others as well. A lot of other files you can find on the internet. You say that CSS style files or open source CSS style files, and you can get a lot of them. People are working on it. They have maybe a team of the people are working on it, and then they build those things. Rather than we write all those styles, we understand how we can write it now based on our last lecture and the experiments. But do we need to write it by ourselves? So that is a big question. Rather than writing 10,000 lines, we can say that we can use the work of the others, which are open source, of course, and then we can modify those according to our requirements if they are a little bit different from what they have been written down over there. Okay, so includes HTML, CSS design templates, typography, forms, buttons, tablets. So they make a lot of different type of styles. So optional JavaScript plugins as well. Sometimes we also have the what you can say. They also provide you some JavaScript which actually enable or implemented the behaviors of the users, how they are interacting with the elements which has been designed in that framework or the CSS file. For example, we have a drop down menu. So when you click on it, it drop down. That is a behavior. Okay, so that kind of a behaviors has been implemented in the JavaScript. So sometimes these frameworks also have the JavaScript additional file that manage these kind of behaviors. So not supported in the earlier versions, that Bootstrap is one of them. So Bootstrap is not supported by the older. It is a very latest versions of the web browsers we can use. Otherwise we cannot use those which are the earlier one, the old ones. Okay, so the idea behind this Bootstrap is a responsive web design. Responsive web design mean that if the size of the screen is changing, our design is automatically adjusting itself according to the size of the screen. So that is a responsiveness of our design. And normally in this Bootstrap, we say that we want to design something which looks good on the phones, on the phone screens, which are smaller. And then they say that when the screen size becomes bigger for a tablet or for the desktop, then how it will react to those changes. So that makes it responsive to the screen size. Okay, and then a little bit history about the Bootstrap. Twitter blueprint started in a Twitter. Nowadays we call it X. Yeah. So Jacob Mark Otto and the Jacob Thornton. At Twitter, they started or they come up with this Bootstrap 1 idea, and then later on it has become open source, and then the people, there are a lot of different community which is contributed into that, and nowadays we are inside the Bootstrap 5 version 5. Okay, so this is that we're going to use it. Bootstrap is written inside the SAS syntactically awesome style sheets. That's another language which help us to write down the CSS in more like a structured way. So of course we are not going to look into that, but if you want to understand what is that SAS language, then you can click on the link and go see how they are doing it. But later on, the Bootstrap team, they make it a compiled version, and in the compiled version we have a CSS file and the JavaScript file which are available. We can download, we can put that inside our project, or we can also connect online with the latest versions of the Bootstrap files. Now, okay, we will. Then we also have a JavaScript which implement the user behavior over there. We can download that Bootstrap from this file. So we will talk a little bit later that when we need to use the, or which way is better for the to join or to connect our HTML files inside our web project to the local files which we have downloaded inside and copy them inside our project, or we want to connect with the online files which are available through the content delivery network, CDN. So here is an example of the CDN. If you want to connect your HTML file with the Bootstrap CSS file and the JavaScript file, then you can just copy this one. And then if you don't find, sometime maybe it is, when I created a slide, this link has become older. So what you can do, you can go back here inside the get started. They will also provide you two things: download link. You can download those files, actual files in your computer, or they will also provide you that CDN links. So you can just copy from there and put it in place of these links here if they are old. But I highly doubt that they are still valid. Okay. So we can say link, creating a link between our HTML file and the CSS, and rather than having the local file that we have seen in the last week, so we are saying that they are on the internet and we are giving the absolute address of those files on the internet using the CDN, that is a content delivery network. Okay, and then we also have the script part. So how we can connect the script? We have a script tag, and then we have a source, and then we have the absolute address of that JavaScript file which exists on the internet. And then we need to close that script tag. And normally this script tag is coming right before the end of the body. We don't put that one inside the JavaScript in the header part. Okay, we can put it over there, to be honest, but it is better that we always put that link, the script link, the JavaScript link, right before the end of the body, not in the header. Why? When we talk about the JavaScript, when we start working on the JavaScript, I will explain you why. Okay. But right now, just remember that the link to the CSS file, it will always comes inside the header, just like our external CSS file that we have seen last week. But the script tag, which is connecting our, telling our HTML file that where is the JavaScript code for the Bootstrap where they have implemented the user interactions, then this script tag, the script one, it will come right before the closing of the body tag. Okay. And here are some containers. When I say container, so look at that. I have given this thing here, this, and then before that container, I have put a dot. It means the in the Bootstrap CSS file, they have defined a container class style. Dot, remember, dot and the name of the class that we can write. So they have defined that class over there. So that dot container class fixed width container. It has a fixed width and try to cover, I mean, leave some spaces on the left and right and the top and bottom. We leave some margins over there, and then it has that done. So this is will be what you can say, that if you want to show the main contents that will become inside a div which has been classed as class is equal to container. So it will automatically apply this style which has been defined here. And if you look down there, we have two different containers. One is a bigger one, this is a container, and the other one is a little bit smaller. So again, the dot container dash fluid class is a full width container rather than leaving the spaces on the left and right. So container is a smaller one, and then the container dash fluid, it is trying to cover the full width of the screen. And then here is the responsive. They have defined these things inside these styles. What they are saying, that if we have the screen size which is greater than 576 pixels, then the size of this container will be 100%. It will try to cover the whole screen. It will leave some margins on the right and left side, on top and bottom, but that is the size, 100%. But if the size is less than 576, small, less than 576, then the size of this container, the width, it will be equal to 540 pixels. And then we have the medium, which is greater than, okay, I think I have explained a little bit wrong. The first one is the size is less than 576, very, very small size. Then say 100%, cover the full width, because very small screen cover the full screen of the width is equal to 100%. If the style is greater than 576 but less than 768, we call it a small screen, then the size of this container, the width of this container will be 540 pixels. The next one is the medium. So again, we are saying that if the size of the screen is 768 to 992, then the size of this container or the width of this container will be 720 pixels, and so on. We can continue for the large screen, for the extra large screen, for very, very large screen. So accordingly, they have designed these things. They have put that things inside the CSS bootstrap.css file. They have defined that style. So do you want to design all those things by yourselves? And then of course they also have these classes, different if conditions. If the size is this, if the size is this, if the size is this, they have a lot of different past experiences, and then they know a lot of different sizes which exist in the world, and then accordingly they have come up with the best solution for that. So rather than reinventing the wheel, we can just use them rather than recreating or rewriting these styles by ourselves. Okay, is it clear? Now how I can apply these things? So we can say we have a div inside the body. Of course, whatever we are writing, it is inside the body starting tag and ending tag. Inside the body we are writing div, and then we say class is equal to container. So now we are applying all these styles, the size, the background, the margins and the paddings and everything which has been defined in the CSS bootstrap style on this div. And inside the div I have the h1, which is the my bootstrap, or my first bootstrap page, and then we have a paragraph tag. And if we this is the output, it automatically leaves some spacing on the left and right because it's a container. If it's I use the container dash fluid, it will try to cover the whole page. Okay, is it clear so far? Any questions? Next, grid system. It also provide you the bootstrap filing, the styling. They also provide you a grid system. Grid system means it's more like a tabular form where we have the rows and the columns. And then inside the rows and columns, they have divided the complete width into 12 equal columns. Of course, in the large screen. Okay. So 12 equal columns across the page. And then we can combine, we can say that we want to have 12 different columns. We want to say 4 columns for one items to display, 4 columns for other item to display, 4 column for this for one item to display, and then 8 column for the other information to display. So again, we can combine them different ways. Okay. And to define these columns, so again, we have the columns, then we also have the rows. Remember, in the table, we have rows. Inside the rows, we put the columns. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to create a row. So we have a div class equal to row. You understand? So what we are saying, that we want to create a grid or a table like layout for our elements that we want to display on the page. But before that, we can put them into the column. We need to enclose that columns inside the row. So what I can do here, if I just try to write down here, I say we have a div, and then we have a class is equal to row, and then we can close that div. And inside this div, I can put the rows, sorry, columns. And we have different type of columns extra small. If I just say dot column, it means that we are saying that we have a very, very small, extra small, the smallest screen size. So when I defining say dot column, so we say that we want to have that much column on the smallest device. Then we say dot column small, then the device mean this. And then we have dot column mid, dot column large. So we have all the flavors for the columns as well. For the smallest screen, for small screen, for medium screen, for large screen, for extra large screen, and for extra large screen. Is it clear? So here's an example of these columns. So what I'm saying, I am putting the things inside the row class. So this is our container. This is our row. And inside the row, we have defined the columns. When I say column dash small dash 3, so I am saying that whatever the content is coming here, this one, the contents of this div, they should be represented or they should be shown in 3 columns. We combine 3 columns because we have total 12 columns. Remember? So we have total 12 columns. So 3 columns show this information. Do you understand? And then next 3 columns again show the next information, and the next 3. So we have 4 different columns which are spanning 3 columns equal to 1 kind of thing. So 3, 3, 3, 3, that become total 12. And this is the output of that. It will show you 4 columns, and then the contents are shown in those columns. If I say 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, then I can put 12 of them. And then the column will be small, of course. When I say dash 3, I'm saying that first 3 columns, combine them together, you merge them together and make 1 column. You understand? So yes, virtually we have divided the screen into 12, but we can also combine in a different way. Here is an example of video and example. So if I just run that video, you can see that when I am increasing the width of the browser, actually I'm changing the screen size. So accordingly, they will adjust itself. Okay. For example, 5, 5, and 5. So now if you look at that, the total number of columns has increased. 5, 5, 5, that is 20. So what will happen? It will only show whenever the total is become more than 12, that column automatically go to the next screen. So that's why the third one automatically go into the next screen or next page. Is it clear? Because the first 5 plus 5, 10. Now plus 5, that becomes 15. So that is not possible that we can accommodate the third column inside the same row or same line, you can say that. It will automatically go to the new line. Is it clear? So it is our responsibility to make sure that the total number of the columns is equal to 12 and should not exceed that one. And if it exceeds, then it automatically go to the new line. Yes. Container. Yes. Container is more like that we are giving the page, if we want to leave some space on the left side, margins and all, so we are enclosing that our complete contents inside the container. You can also write without that one, but we are just organizing the things, we are putting them into a group, and container is a one of them which contain the main information of the page. Okay, any other question? We can also have the unequal grid. Rather than I say 555 or 333, I can say 4 and 8. 4 plus 8, 12. So they will come in the, but what will happen? The first four small columns will merge together, combine together to make one column, which is equal to the four columns. And the last 8 will become one column again. So this is the output of this one, the last one. Okay. So here the colors are not visible, but yes, I have changed the background. If you look at the slides, then you can see that difference. So it is a small from here to here, and then after that it is a complete 8 column combined together. That will become the second column. Here is another video that you can see that, and again, when I am changing the size, it automatically adjusts itself. So that is called responsiveness, and that we need to implement these things inside the css file style. And if we have not implemented, then it will not be responsive. It will always remain the same structure, doesn't matter what the size of it. But in the bootstrap filing, they have already implemented that responsiveness, so that's why we are having these differences when we change the size of the screen. The structure or the layout of the elements inside the page changes based on the screen size. Is it clear? Yes. Okay. Then we also have the typography. By default, the font size is 1 rem or 16 pixels, and then the line height is 1.5. It's not taking one. So in the Bootstrap, they make the line height is equal to 1.5. We also have the margins in the paragraph. They don't put any margin from the top, but there are some margins on the bottom, that is a 16 pixel or the 1 rem. So now we are just telling you how they have defined inside the Bootstrap the paragraph. No margin from the top, but from the bottom, they have some margins. H1, they are all bold and responsive font size. Responsive font size means when you change the screen of the size. If the screen of the size is smaller, the automatically the size of the text or the font size for the headings, they will also become smaller. And if you make the size bigger, the screen size bigger, then they automatically become bigger. Understand? So they are responding. The size of the text is also responding to the change in the size of the screen. Is it clear? So this is an example. I mean, they are using a different font as well. Okay, this is an example of that one that you will see. And here is an example, one more thing. Actually, here I am defining the classes rather than the h1 tag, h12 tag, h3 tag. They also have defined the classes dot h1, dot h2, dot h3, define the classes. And we can apply that style using the class attribute. Is it clear? Here we also have the secondary text. We put a small, so the we know that the small tag what will do, it automatically make that the contents of that element smaller than the rest of the text. So we also have kind of a thing. We also have a display 1, display 2, display 3 classes, so they will display something like this. Is it clear? Any questions? No. Text colors. So we have a dot text muted, dot text primary, dot text. They have defined the color of the text. We can say color is equal to what? We can define ourselves, but they have defined some colors here. And then if you look at that, these are the colors. The first one is a muted text, more like a gray color. light gray color. Then we have primary, which is blue. Then we have the success mean green. Then we have information, and then we have the warning. Then we have a danger. Then we have secondary text, and so on. So we have different type of the colors. Based on the class, we can tell that which is the. And then we also have the background colors. Similarly, BG primary background, BG primary, BG success, BG info, BG warning, BG danger, BG secondary, dark, light. So you can see all these colors. So again, the background colors they have specified over there. But it is not necessary that you always use this. You can always define your own colors as well, based on your requirement, based on your style, how you want to style your. But the good thing is, if you are using the mainly the style which has been defined in the bootstrap, you don't need to worry about that responsiveness of change of the screen size and so on. They will automatically work for you. Here's a table. I mean, now if you look at that, I put a table here. If I just put a table, what will happen? I didn't specify any class. By default, no, what you can say, that there is no border. They will have a very small table based on the contents. They will create that table. But when I put this class is equal to table inside this tag here, then it automatically apply the style from the bootstrap, and then the table will look like this, which is a basic table. We also have a table like this. Table class is equal to table space. We can apply multiple classes, multiple styles on the same element. On the table, we are applying two different styles. One is a table, and the other one is a table striped. Table striped mean you can't see the color here. I don't know why. The screen is a little bit different, It is actually this second line is a little bit, darker. The background color is different, and think that will be visible inside these slides, the PDF slide that I shared on the LMS. So there you can see that. So stripe mean for every alternate row, they have a different background color, striped. So we apply two different styles. It should be a table type from table style from the bootstrap, and then we also telling that alternate rows should have a different background color. We also have this one, table bordered. So it apply the bordered around the table. By default, it is only the bottom border which has been applied over there. But when I say bottom table dot table, I mean table board dash bordered as well, then it will apply the complete borders all around. We also have hover. Hover mean when you bring your cursor on it, it will change the background color. We also have dark. So that will make that color background color dark. We can also say dark and table dash stripe. So now you can see that these colors and these colors, they are different. Table dash stripe. We can also say table dash hover. What was that? Hover. Yeah, table dash hover as well. So we can apply three styles: table, table dash dark, table dash stripe, and table dash hover. Four. So what will happen? So of course they will say we have a table, then we have a table dash dark, the background color is dark. It is a stripe mean the all alternate rows has different background color, and table dash hover mean that when we bring our cursor on the row, the background will change. Highlight that row whenever we bring our cursor on it. Okay. Here we also have table dash borderless. Don't apply any border on it. Rather than default is the bottom, don't apply that one as well. So we can have that one. We can also apply the table background colors. So table background is we have the styles is equal to where we are specifying table dash primary here. We are specifying the style here like this: table dash primary, table dash success, danger, info. So we are applying the background color on the row, but we can also apply on the cell, TD or TH. We can also apply that one. So then it means only one cell will have the background color, not the whole row. If you want to apply for on the whole row, every column in the same row have the same background, then apply the background on the row. But if you say only one cell should have the background color, then you can apply the background color, this class table dash primary table dash uh, danger on a specific cell as well. So here are the contextual classes that I were talking about. Okay, so we have a table dash primary, table dash access, danger, dark, light, secondary, all that are the background colors for the tables. Any questions so far? No. Then we also have a responsive table. When we say responsive table, so which respond to the what you can say that the screen size. Okay, so normally when we have applied the tables, it automatically go to the wrap, and the columns go to the next line. But if we don't want that kind of a thing, then we say we enclosed our table inside the div, which has a div dash table dash responsive class. And then in case our table is going out of the screen, rather than wrapping it, it will give you that you can scroll left and right to see the contents if we have a very large table. Is it clear? And here are some responsive table uh, classes. Small, again based on the size of the screen, small, medium, large, extra large, extra large. If you don't specify anything, then it will be for the extra small, the the smallest one, that on which we want to apply. Okay, any questions so far before we can jump to the images, the style that has been defined for the images inside the Bootstrap? No questions? So here we have image, we are specifying the source, and then we say class is equal to rounded. It means these corners are rounded. You can see that these corners. What happened here? Screen. Anyway, so the corners are rounded. But if I say rounded dash circle, so it will make it more circular. So we are not doing anything. We are just tracing image source, and then we are applying the class. So automatically make that more circular image. Thumbnail, whenever you want to show inside the multiple images inside the page, and you say that when you click on it and you can see the full resolution of image, so normally you show them just like a picture, you have a border and all. So if you apply the class is equal to image dash thumbnail, then it will become something like this. It is a white back border around it, which is also have the corner rounded, and inside it show you image as well. Normally full resolution image, and we have a small resolution image. So small resolution image is being shown inside the thumbnail, and then when you click on it, it would open up the complete full resolution image, which normally is a very big ones, and in terms of size as well. Okay, so image alignment, we can align the image into different ways. Float dash start. Float dash start mean that wherever we are putting that image, it will go to the start of the page automatically. Float dash end, it means it will float itself. Of course it will move the contents, and then it will go to the end or to the right side of the screen. So here are some examples. So you can see that the first image is floating to the start, second image is floating to the left, and then the paragraphs are coming in between that, if we have enough space. Right now there's not much space, but yeah, still the paragraph is coming inside. Okay, we also have this one, mx auto, and then we say it is center line and d dash block. Now we are changing. By default the image is a inline element, remember? So here we are changing that behavior. We say make it a block level element. So now it will not allow anyone else or any other contents to come in that place where that specific image is. So here is the complete example of that one, the HTML code and the output. Then here, I mean, if you want to show something very, very prominent, then we have a jump button. style. If you want to know more about that, click on the more styles and then it will take you there. Any questions? Everything is crystal clear. Alert, we can also show some alerts, some pop-up windows. Remember in the when I talk about the JavaScript that implement a behavior, we show an alert message. So we can also have the alert. So we have different classes: dot alert, dot alert success, mean the background of the this alert will be green, alert info, alert warning. So here are the examples. So this is the first one is the alert and success, alert dash success. The background is this, and then we have info, warning, danger, primary, and then we can also have the alert dismissible. It means they will show you a cross on the alert, and when you click on that cross, it will disappear from the screen. And these are the behaviors. And if you have not linked your HTML file with the bootstrap.js file, JavaScript file, then these kind of behaviors are not going to work. I mean, if you write something like this, and then if you have not connected your HTML file with the JavaScript file, you only just put in the header the CSS link, then this cross is not going to work. It will not disappear from the screen. So these are behaviors which has been implemented in the JavaScript. Then we also have the buttons, different types of buttons: simple button, basic one. Then the background is changed, the button dash primary, button dash success, button dash secondary, button dash info. So again, here are the examples here. If you look at that, what I'm saying that it is a button, or okay, and then it is a types equal to button, and then we are saying the classes. For first one I say simple button, so basic button, no border, nothing. And then we say button, and then button primary. We apply two different styles on it: button space button dash primary, then the background color has been changed. And the similarly for button dash primary, secondary, button, and button dash success, and so on. And then if you look at the last one, it is more like this one is more like what you can say that the hyperlink, this style: button, the basic button style, and then say button dash link. Okay, and then here we have a light color background color, dark background color, danger background color, and so on. Is it clear or not clear? We can also apply the same button style on the hyperlink. Here, if you look at that, the what is that? So we are saying input type is equal to button. You know, this is an input. It is not a button, but still we are applying the class btn. It automatically become a button. If we have a tag and then say class is equal to btn, it automatically become show you as a button. Okay. So here's other examples outlined rather than the completely filled. The outline is the so button dash button outline dash primary, button dash outline dash secondary, and so on. So the outline is of a different color. Again, we also have the button sizes. We can make button is a by default inline element. If we want to make it a block level element, then we say d block dash block style. So we can also do that. Active and disabled. Disabled mean that if we inside the button, if you say disabled as a set that property without any value, then it will become a disabled. It means user cannot click on it. We also have the spinner buttons. We also have these kind of buttons where we are grouping things together. Next, previous, or show you something different. Is it clear? So, I mean, we have different styles that we can apply. We also have the badges. Remember, if you see a inbox on the top, there's a red color. You have 19 what you can say that 19 unread emails. Yes. So that is actually a badge which is shown over there with the number of the unread emails. Okay, so that is the badge. So again, we say we have a class, and then inside the class, each one we are putting a span. And on the span tag, we are putting the class badge, BG secondary, BG primary. So we are also changing, we are saying that this is a badge, and then we are also saying that change the background color. So it show you something like this. Because everybody, I mean, everywhere we are using this secondary. If we change the different background color, then it will show you different background colors as well. Here we say badge and then BG primary, BG success, and so on. So we can also change the background colors. We can also change these badges into a, more like in this style. Rather than having the rectangular form, we have a more like a, what we can say, it's a pill style, the capsule style. So we can do that. Rounded dash pill. That makes this style. And then of course we have a BG. So we are applying three different styles on this. The first style is a badge. Second style, make it rounded capsule type or shape. And then we are third one, to changing the background color of that one. How many times we can specify these styles? No, there is no limit. You can apply 10 different styles on the same element. Yes, you can. But remember that if you are using the multiple styles and there's a conflict, the last definition will be used. Remember the conflicts. Then we also have the badge elements. Inside the badge we can also have another, we can have we have a button, and inside the button we are putting the badge. So messages, four mean we have 400 messages. There are four important messages, whatever the meaning you have defined inside your. Any questions so far? No. So that is the end of our lecture. Thank you.